Hi, welcome to my channel, and today I want to use my pastels, my oil pastels that I almost never use because I don't know how to use them. They are, some of you probably recognize this brand, and you think, wow, those are really expensive. Why you bought them as a beginner and you don't even know how to use them? And I don't have a good answer to that. I guess I bought them impulsively when I was visiting someone in Toronto, and we just went to an art store and I felt like buying something, you know, one of those days when you feel like I just want to buy something nice for myself, and that's how it happened. Like if I open this, you'll see that it's barely touched. Yeah, my white is almost gone. That's why I bought more white, because I figured by the time I use up the other ones, I will need more white anyway. So, and for some reason this gray one, I don't know, maybe I really like this gray. I've only done a couple of portraits with this. And I had no idea what I'm doing, so I'm gonna give it a try again. It's been probably a couple of years since I last touched them, and I also have a few here. Again, I also bought them impulsively because I thought the colors were really pretty. These are Holbein oil pastels, and these ones are Sennelier. I also have a few Crayola crayons in here. I thought they could kind of go together well, so that's why I put them all together here. And the paper I'm using is just a regular watercolor paper, but I did use this, which is a pastel ground. So basically it's kind of like a paste, and it has you can't probably tell, but it's like kind of gritty. So when you put it down, it will be kind of have like a sandpaper texture. And I've tried it before and it works really well. And I feel like buying this is cheaper than buying a pad of really nice quality oil pastel paper, the one that has grittiness to it, teeth to it, because those are quite expensive. So I thought I can save some money by buying this. And the other nice thing you can do, you saw that it's kind of like an off-white color, but what you can do is that you can mix it with something, anything. And in my case, I mixed it with this acrylic ink, muted green. At least that's, I think, what I use, because I prepared this paper like a year ago and only now I'm having courage to, you know, try it. So that's what I did, and I don't know if you can tell by the sound, but it has a very nice fine tooth to it, and we'll see how it works. Again, as a reminder, I'm a complete novice at oil pastels, so I might fail miserably. And I will put up my reference photo in the corner somewhere, so you can follow along. And another thing on my channel, what I prefer to do is to just do not skip, do not edit out chunks of videos. I might be silent, you know, things might happen or not work out. I promise you I will not edit anything out, so it will be in real time, and if you feel like it, you can follow along. Maybe you can do some other project, but yeah, I just prefer to keep it realistic. Anyway, I'm gonna start sketching, and since I can't really use a graphite pencil here, I'm going to use this white color-raised pencil. I've never found a use for this, so I feel like this is a great use for this particular pencil. Do I have my eraser here? Yep, I do. And yeah, let's start. I kind of chose an easier reference. I mean, at least I think it's easier. Glass is never really easy, but I thought as a beginner I will choose something with a simpler shape at least, and it might, you know, make things easier for me, so I will actually learn how to use this medium. Oh, I think I didn't leave enough space for the neck because it's kind of longer. Yeah, so it ended up somewhere here. It's kind of mis-centered, so I think I need to kind of move it. Oh, it leaves some residue, my eraser, so I will just do it lightly. Maybe I will just dab it. So yeah, I'm gonna move it, I'll shift it a little bit down. My sketch might not be very visible, but I'm actually really liking this pencil for this kind of textured paper. So that's good to know for future. I like this bottle, how chunky it is. Like the base is so big and I don't know, very solid. Okay, and now I think now we placed it better than before. Yeah, the only like kind of like intricate part is on the neck. There's what do you call this thread? Is it called twine? I think there is a specific name for this kind of thread. Yeah, it might be difficult to get this detail with oil pastels, but we might get away with just like, you know, make it in a more abstract, bigger, generalized shape. Today, am I making the opening too small, like too narrow? Yeah, I feel like I am. Let me fix this. A little bit like this. I'm just checking if my bottle is not like lopsided or anything, which even if it is, it's not a big deal. And by the way, if you can hear all the street noises, I'm sorry. Nothing I can do about it because I live right in downtown of my city. So it has its own benefits, but sometimes it frustrates me as well. I think I have like at least 3 constructions going on around the area. And I live in Canada, so the whole winter there are always the snow plowing machines that are just scraping the asphalt away. I really love it at nights because yeah, it's pretty loud. Okay, I think this is a better starting point. Now I'm gonna map out kind of the the highlights that I'm seeing. Like some of them are smaller, some of them are really large. I like that variety. So there is one here and one here. A middle kind of size highlight here on the neck. And one here. Highlights on the glass object is the best. It's just so nice. It just makes glass, you know, this strong highlights. I'm not sure if I got it quite right, but it's okay. Doesn't have to be perfect. So now I'm gonna move on to the smaller shapes I see. I'm gonna watch for the plane breaks. Like I see one here, here, and it falls all the way here. Now that I put it here, I can see the distance between these two shapes is kind of small on my sketch, so I'm gonna kind of move the highlight a little bit. Maybe it's closer to the edge here as well. Again, it doesn't really matter that much for like a simple sketch. It's not like it's going to hang in my home. Okay, another shape that I see is right here. It's kind of close to the edge of the bottle, and then it has an interesting shape here. Like if I mentally make a middle line, like if it's middle line is somewhere here. Yeah, I think this is closer to the middle line. Yeah, I think this is closer to the middle line, and this highlight here is further, and on my sketch it's the opposite for some reason. So let's this is something that I learned, and sometimes I forget to use this, but like checking the relative distance between different like groups, shapes, objects is a great way to get the correct proportions. But sometimes I forget. I completely forget, and this, I don't know why I feel like it's supposed to be bigger than it is actually. I don't know. I think it's good enough. And this shape is kind of 1/3 of the body of the bottle. It's over here. There is kind of this break. I'm actually not sure what this break means. Like, is it a change in the texture of the bottle, or is it just the way the light is hitting it? Because it's a little bit weird that on the lower part the highlights completely disappear, and the lower part always feels like it's kind of matte texture. Not sure. I think it should be placed a little bit higher and kind of wrap around the bottle on the edges a little bit. more so on this side for some reason. Okay. I see some darker texture on this side, here as well. I will just make some marks so I remember about it, because sometimes I completely forget about some of the elements of the sketch, especially if I didn't put it into my sketch. Like I get so such a tunnel vision. And this is the bottom of the bottle. It's protruding a little bit, creating this like dark oval shape. And there is like a white spot here, which has a very interesting kind of like organic shape here. So it doesn't look exactly like a highlight. Again, I'm not sure what is that. Is it like just the texture of the glass? Because it feels like the glass is, maybe it's very old glass, but it feels like it's not very even, which again adds to the interest, and I really like it. But it leaves me guessing what some of the parts, like what it means, like what am I looking at? And then the only thing left is a shadow here, and I love the color of the shadow like at the base because of the light going through. It's this really like light green. I'm not sure if I'll be able to make it that way on my sketch. I will try, but yeah, we'll see. Like there's cast shadow. And also here I see kind of like this portion, I see the glass, like because of the light going through, it's kind of like lighter. Whereas I feel like if the bottle was, let's say, black or something non-transparent, the base would have been darker than here, but this is the opposite. It's lighter than here. So that's very interesting. Okay, I think the sketch is done, and I'm more comfortable with sketching because I do it more often. Now I'm completely terrified to start with the oil pastels because I have no idea where to start. Do I start with darks? Do I start with lighter shades? I don't know, and that's terrifying. I feel like the first thing I can do is maybe map out the few like really almost like white highlights. Maybe that will be helpful. Then I will do like really dark darks and then midtones. Okay, wish me luck. I will start with a bigger one because another thing about pastels that kind of scares me is that how big they are. How like, I don't even know how those oil pastel artists get like really nice details, because I can't imagine doing that with this like chunky sticks. Okay. And I will try to kind of give it a bit more of a softer texture just with my finger. In the past I've tried using a brush, and while it's nice, it makes it almost too smooth. So I'm kind of like, I think I prefer just my finger now. At least in this piece I will just try and use my finger and see how it goes. Okay. So far, so good. The smaller ones are a bit more tricky. but I think I got them. What else? I think this is all we are going to use pure white for. I don't see any other spots. Now, for the really darks, I'm thinking what I'm gonna use, because I have only like 3 greens in here, and it's not like it has to be only green. I feel like mixing in some of the dark blue would also look really nice. So I'm thinking I will use a combination of this green, which is dark but also quite muted, and maybe I will also mix it with this like really dark, kind of warm blue. I'm looking for a name of the color on these. I see it's BB19, but there's no like a name. Well, I don't really know my pigments out of my head, so there you go. This one is PG28. This one is PB. I think it says 19. That's fine by me. That's okay. So I think I'm gonna put blue underneath and green over that. Like really darks I see here. Oh, this is really nice. I like the color. I think I'm gonna put it here. And I will try not to make it like too uniform, because as I said, this particular glass is not very even, so it has a lot of texture. So maybe here, this kind of dome-like shape. I see some here, but it's not like a even texture, so I'm just gonna spread it out like this. Some here. Again, not trying to be like really precise, because I think, at least for me, I really like more chunky oil pastel paintings, so I shouldn't be too like precious with my placements. Some really nice shapes here. And around this white spot, at least on the right, I see really dark kind of lines, dark shapes, which has a really nice contrast. I really like that. And it doesn't quite touch the white on this side. It's kind of further away. And here, right beside the white again. Oh, that is nice. I'm actually getting more and more confident. I'm really liking this. I don't know why I was scared for so long and just abandoned my oil pastels. This is really nice. I see the kind of like a outline in this really dark, but I'm not sure if I can make this nice outline with this. Maybe I can use Crayola pencils, because they are kind of not as chunky and they are more stiff. I will see if this will help me to get this like nice outline. It might look dark, but you can see it's not actually dark enough on the paper. It doesn't have enough pigment. So at least for this part, it's not really helpful. It's fine. We'll do without it. Okay, I think I will leave the blue for now and we'll move on to the green. Is it dark enough? I'm not sure, but yeah, let's go with this. We can always layer, we can mix, which is again kind of scary for me, because I'm used to mixing on a palette. I'm used to watercolors, gouache. I'm used to like pre-mixing them before applying, which is the opposite of this process. Here I see some darker green, maybe here. Now I'm not sure what I'm going to use. This looks a bit lighter than I expected. So I just want to establish what I'm going to use for kind of a mid-tone. So the other greens I have are this. I will try this in a moment, and this, which I like the how do I say it? I like how light it is, but I don't like that it's kind of a colder, like cooler green. Like for this piece, it feels to me more like olive green would be better. So I don't know if I could mix it successfully with a little bit of orange maybe. We'll see. So what we have here is this green, which I think is a tad warmer than the other. I'm gonna try it. I mean, what's the worst that can happen, really, right? Okay, so this is quite light. Actually, I really like this for this, remember? For this, like, kind of light going through and casting a shadow like at the base. I think I really like this for this part, because this is such a nice green and I think it pops really nice. But in order to make it pop here, I can't really use much of it elsewhere. So I'm gonna try this green and see how it works. I think this could be a good match for this area. It's a bit too dark. It's a bit too dark. What do I mix it with? Let's see. I kind of want to try this. Kind of looks like an ochre color. I want to try what happens if I like try to layer them together. Okay, it kind of mutes it a little bit, that I like, and kind of makes it a bit too light though. Okay, now I think I'm getting too finicky with this, and that's what my camera shut off for like a minute, so sorry if you missed a little bit. The dang thing has a 30-minute limit for videos, and I don't understand why it has to do it. It's annoying if I don't notice it. I used to put a timer beside me, but it was kind of, annoying to like set up everything. So I just try to remember, which doesn't always work. Okay, so now that I put this color in places, maybe more here, some here, so it doesn't feel disjointed, like it's just here and that's it. Like it has to feel like organic, like I don't know. You can't just put chunks of color in only some places because sorry, then it will look kind of disjointed. So Yeah, now that I use it everywhere I wanted, I don't like how dark it is and I don't like how cool it is. So I'm going to try to use this and see how it works. Especially on this border, I think I don't want this to be too contrasty. Okay, I think it's somewhat working. It might not be exactly what I wanted, but it's fine. And again, I don't feel like blending everything like too much, because for me, when you blend it too much, oil pastels kind of lose some of its charm, you know, some of the characteristics that actually make me like it. So I will blend sparingly. It is fun though, so sometimes I get carried away with blending in general, not only with oil pastels, but even when I'm using like watercolors, especially. I do it too much, and then I hate it that I did it too much, but at that point it's usually too late. Watercolor is quite, I feel like it's quite less forgiving than many other mediums. I'm not sure if this will be my final layer on this part, but I am liking it so far. I think in order to understand you know, the other values, I need to address this large shape here, which is kind of the lighter mid-tone, and I think that will kind of bring everything together and I will finally see the picture. And for that one, again, I'm kind of stumped what to use and thinking this, but I'm definitely going to mix this with something, because by itself it's too, you know, like almost like a neon, and it's too cool for my liking. I want it to be more like olive. So yeah, we'll see. I think I will just start by covering the area, and I will leave it texture because I'm going to put another layer there, so I leave it quite textured. Okay. And you know what, I'm going to cover this part as well. I know it's a little bit different, but I will just layer it a bit differently. For now, I will just group them together, which is also good because then it won't feel too disjointed because I used the same color as a base. And here, and a bit here, here. I think here on the rim there's some light, like maybe from behind or reflecting off something. I don't know. With glass it's difficult to track the light, what exactly is happening. I think there's some lightness here. Yeah, let's try to mix it with something. I'm thinking trying this kind of orange. Let's try to mix it here and see what happens. And I feel like I also want to kind of mute it as well. So is it a bad idea to try some white and like really blend it into the layer? Ooh, I actually like it because in this area it is, if you see, there is a kind of like a highlight, and around this edge, like around this kind of like a plain brick, there is also a bit of a highlight. Okay, I really like that orange in here, but I'm curious to see what happens if I use this a little bit. It's too red. No, this is not doing what I want it to do. Okay, I'll come back to this. And maybe I will mix in some of this green. Okay, I like it a lot more. Okay, so now maybe here as well, and then pop in some white, some kind of like really bright orange. Okay, I gotta say, mixing oil pastels is really fun. It's really fun. It's almost addictive. You want to keep blending it together, which not always a good idea. And also this specific oil pastels, I know that compared to many other brands, even some other like professional level brands, that these are really, really soft, really creamy. Is it coming together? I feel like this area needs more blending now because it stands out too much. I guess I'm missing some white, especially like here. I will need to mix some white with just a touch of green. Yeah, that looks really good to me. It's a bit lighter towards the edges, so I will add more white in those areas, and also here, like at the edge, the top part of the dome, I see some white reflections. Oh, look at that. Look at that when I press a bit harder. It looks... I don't know if the sketch is looking amazing, but if you just focus on the texture of the pastels, it's amazing. It's I don't know. It's kind of like an oil pastel, but... sorry, did I say oil pastel? I mean, kind of like oil paint, but somehow different. Okay. I think there's supposed to be a bit more light here. I'm gonna use this finger. I'm gonna dedicate my fingers. This will be for more dark blends, and this will be for like lighter blends. So my finger will be almost like my brush. And I also like when, when artists make really edges that kind of... Oh, I can't really erase anything. Oh, actually it is picking up some stuff. So I guess you could erase a little bit. Yeah, what I was saying, I really like the effect when artists make the edges kind of glowing a little bit. Especially I notice it with oil paintings, and I really like that effect. How about that? And I say just a touch of like almost white here. I will mix it with something later, but I just want it to be here while I noticed it. Now, to me, this really dark blue looks a bit disjointed because it's kind of, there is no good transition between this really dark blue and the other colors. So I want to find something in between, something that is not as dark, something kind of joining them together. Will it be weird if I use this? Because I feel like, oh, yes, I do like it. I like it a lot. Yes, that's what I was looking for. I guess I mean, I know it's blue, but because, what do you call this color? I don't know how to express it, but I feel like it's joining the blue and the green really nicely. Really nicely. If someone knows the color theory behind it, please share. Because for me, I do have this color chart that I use all the time because I have really bad memory. So, you know, the minute I stop looking at it, I forget what to mix with what. And apart from that, I'm not really well versed in color theory. I just go by the feeling. Okay, I'm enjoying this a bit too much, so I need to watch out that I don't overwork with this specific color. I kind of want to pop it in somewhere here on the rim. Yeah, really nice. And now I'm seeing that I missed some of the dark edge in here. Maybe in general I need to kind of like go back to this dark and strengthen some of the shapes and edges that kind of got lost while I was laying other colors. Here, for example, I see some dark that got lost. And maybe I will extend this a little bit here. I think it's time I start addressing some other things that I kind of was putting off. So this thread in here, I think it will be a nice like pop of different color and different texture. And the shadow here. The shadows are very tricky for me. I feel like if you get, I don't know, the tone, something wrong, it immediately kind of, it makes or breaks the illusion of the object being real, you know. So I'm quite nervous about the shadow. So let's start with this. I think because we used quite a bit of this color already, it will tie it nicely if I use it here as well. Probably as a darker or like mid-dark tone. So it will be a bit tricky, but I will try to define the threads. Maybe I will just hint at them. It's not like I can do much detail, and frankly I don't think too much detail is needed, because detail doesn't always make it better. That's what I used to think, that if you have a lot of like tiny details, oh, you are doing such a good job as an artist, but that's not actually true. It depends, I guess, on your style. But for something like this, which is a bit impressionistic, I feel like detailing is not what you need. You need to have like a grouping of objects. What about... Oh, I really like this. Really like this for like really... I don't want to use white, obviously, because it's not really white. But I think this is really close to what I want. Oh yes, look at that texture. So, and I'm gonna extend some of the shapes here because it's not like a clean break of the edge, because the thread is very textured, so there is no like clean edge break, plain break. I'm not sure what I'm even saying, but this is perfect. I think there's a little bit of light coming from here, so I'm just gonna pop a little bit of this here, just a touch. And I think it's missing, underneath there's supposed to be some darkness as a shadow, but not too much. So we'll see. I feel like using this gray. I feel like, yeah, I might use it here, but here it's too light. Over there I'm gonna use something that I already used before. Maybe I will try a little bit of this, and I will use the end, because the end is still kind of sharp, but just a little bit, because there's no like big shadow, because it's it's not a big shape to cast a really big shadow. And I think I will kind of mix it with this, and it might be, yeah, oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, maybe I will define the opening of the bottle just a bit better. Because this like smaller shapes here is an opportunity to make some details, so you make details sparingly, not everywhere, but like somewhere. And I think the opening and this twine is a really good kind of a focal point. And I want to blend just a little bit, because I also want to put some of this that I put underneath, I want to put here as well. So it just pops a little bit. Yeah. Maybe even some of this. It's kind of like a Naples yellow. It's called Naples yellow. It didn't quite work well because this pastel is not as soft as the Sennelier, So over the scenario, it doesn't work that well unless you know, it's a bigger area and you can really press hard. So I'm actually gonna try to blend in some of like pure white. Okay, yes, that worked well. Okay, let's try to move on to the shadow and let's see if we can make it work. As I said, I want to kind of try to use gray. I have this chunk of this gray that's for some reason fell off from this guy, so I'm gonna use this. And I probably will layer something on top of it because I don't want it to be just gray. It's a bit weird. I think it's too light, so we'll use something else on top, especially towards the edges of the shadow. I know those things have names, but I'm always nervous to use some terms that I'm not 100% sure of. I know there's cast shadow, occlusion shadow, and some other shadow, and I'm not always quite sure which is which, so I'm just gonna not name names. Yeah, in my mind I'm thinking, is my piece like, is it on a cooler side or warmer side? Because I think there is a rule that if your light is cool, then your shadow is supposed to be, I mean, it's not a hard rule, but like your shadow is supposed to be warm and vice versa. And although I want it to be a lot warmer actually than it ended up with, what I ended up with, I think it's still leaning on a cool side. So maybe I will try a warmer shadow, and because this gray is quite warm, it's quite lovely. I'm really partial to warm grays, so I'm going to lean into that, and maybe I will use this, and then on top of it I will layer some more green, and hopefully it will blend in nicely and be really muted as a shadow is supposed to be. I'll pop in some of this green. I think here I'm missing some of the green tone, because you know the shadow from glass has quite a bit of color due to the nature of it, so I think this will make it a bit more believable. And at the base I don't want to lose that a bit of a light area. Yeah. And then at the edge, at the very edge of this, I see, like at the outer edge, I see like darker green. So I will add that and then bring back this a bit. Yeah, I think it's coming together. It is coming together. Maybe a little bit of this. I also have this gray. Let's see how it looks. Is it darker than the other one? I guess it's not really darker, it's just greener, which could be to our advantage. Okay, I guess the shadow is the thing that you can't really blend, because this shadow specifically is quite diffused. So I think I'm allowed to like really get into the blending here. Yeah, I like that. But I think on the edges, it's still missing a little bit of darkness, just a little bit, kind of to define it. So maybe I'm struggling. I will just use just a little bit of this. Just a little bit. And just a little bit of this. And just a little bit of dark green. And then I will blend it again. Okay, maybe I should leave it alone now, because I feel like I'm getting too attached to this. Maybe I want to just add a little bit of warmness here to the base. Yeah, that looks really cool. I like it. Just mute it a little bit. What do you think? Okay, my camera is about to stop recording again because of the half-an-hour limit, so I'm actually gonna take this time to step back, look at it a little bit, and see if I want to finish off some things, because I know that at this point I usually start like really picking at things and overworking my pieces. See you in a bit. Okay, I'm back after like a 5-minute break, during which I squinted a lot at it, and that's something that the best thing really that you can do for your paintings, and I always forget it until the very end. I really need to make it a habit, and while I was squinting, the conclusion I came to is that the this part of the bottle, it kind of made quite a good job. I really like it. Even just looking at it like this, I really like it. There is like a good balance, of light and shadow, the way things are grouped together. I like it. The shadow is still questionable. As I said, it's not my strongest suit. But what I really don't like is the middle part here, like especially the edges. And if I squint at it, what I notice is that, first of all, I put these dark kind of outlines, and they are not really there, at least not as much as I thought. That's one thing. And the other thing, for some reason, I made this part lighter when in the reference actually this part is lighter, which is logical because you can see all these strong highlights here. So the way the light source is, probably there is more light here, but I don't know why I did this. So I'm gonna kind of try to fix it a little bit, and if I can't, it's not a big deal. I still like the piece anyway. So I'm gonna maybe use this green and kind of work it into the edges here. Even though I put like maybe like 2 layers of pastels, if I press, I can still get quite a lot of grip. So I'm really liking this this texture. Like I think if I did a lot more layers, I could, you know, still get advantage of it. It's just, I guess this is my limit really. So, and maybe I want to lighten it a little bit. Maybe I will use this, so not to use like pure white. Okay, now this is not layering, because I guess it depends what pastel. Like these ones are a lot harder, so I will have to revert to the Sennelier. And that's why Sennelier oil pastels cost a fortune, because they are so creamy. They pigmented and creamy. They layer like a dream. So yeah, you can't really be mad at those prices. And here I'm gonna kind of darken it a little bit and also kind of mute it a little bit. So let's go with this green. And maybe I want to kind of warm it up a little bit, warm it and lighten it. Okay, that's better. Oh, I like this here because it's not as dark, but there's still like, you know, some darkness there. So this is perfect. This is perfect. Just pop it a little bit of here in the corner, just for the balance, because I don't know, that's how I feel. Because I feel like there's a lot more here of this color, so I wanted kind of put it here somewhere, but I don't want to, you know, make it symmetrical. Like I don't want to put this here because it will make it too symmetrical. So what do you think now? What do you think now? Maybe I will just, this interesting shape here, maybe I will just make it a bit more noticeable. And another thing actually that I forgot about, and I was kind of thinking while I was working on it, this shape here, it kind of has quite defined edges, like at the top. And I kind of want to bring it forward a little bit, because I don't have too many like sharp edges. Like, yes, this highlights here have quite sharp edges, but that's it. Everything else, I feel like I blended too much, and I think this is a good opportunity to bring some sharpness for the balance, as well as here. It's similar kind of shape, so I think I want to make that happen. What I'm going to use for it, I don't know yet. Again, I will give it a try with Holbein again, although it's not quite working on top of the Sennelier. Well, maybe it will work. It's subtle enough. Okay. Yes. This is subtle, but it's there. I like it. I like it a lot. And as I said here, yes. Oh, I need to resist the urge now to blend it, to smear it. And just, okay, maybe I'm doing too much. Maybe I'm doing too much over there, because I think that part looks really good. I don't want to mess with it further. Those tiny details. I'm just cleaning my pastels now. Give me a clean white, because you know it's white, it's supposed to be stay white. If they're, you know, kind of darker shade, I don't even bother cleaning. It's just the really bright ones. I feel like I don't want to leave them like this, because next time when I reach for them, I will be like, oh, I should have cleaned it right away. Okay, I think that is it. And clean my fingers. Okay, well, I will have a last look, and I think I'm ready to leave it at this. I'm squinting again. I feel like I kind of exaggerated some things in the shadow, but I actually like that effect. I think I exaggerated a bit too much here because when I squint, it's a bit more noticeable than on the reference photo, but I'm fine with that. It's also, you know, something that a lot of artists do, and I like to exaggerate some things, and yeah, it's fine. Especially when I look in my camera viewfinder, my camera display, I'm really liking the thread here. I feel like I did like very few strokes, but like it was really good. Yeah. So I think I'm gonna admire this for the rest of the day, maybe tomorrow, but in like 2 days, I will start noticing everything I made wrong, and I will be like, I will start criticizing myself. I know that this is what happens every time. I like it at the beginning when it's fresh, and then I will start seeing things. So yeah, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being here with me, and I hope to see you next time. Bye-bye.